What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, and I imagine there's a lot of guests on a video like this, my name is Grady. I cover country music on this channel, but I reserve the right to cover whatever else I want to as well. And that includes Taylor Swift here and there. I'm a Taylor fan and have followed her whole career, given that she started in country music, which is my preferred genre. If you're a country fan that's a subscriber to the channel already and you're like, dude, why are you covering Taylor Swift? Just because I want to. You don't have to watch this video if you don't want, but you know, the focus of the channel will still be country music. I want to talk about Taylor's new album, Lover, because I think every album Taylor Swift drops is interesting just because there's so few moments we get as music fans to all talk about something together. There aren't many stars that are truly drawing this much conversation to their albums. There's a lot of stars that have a lot of clout and know how to play the fame game. Taylor is one of them, but a lot of stars we're talking about their celebrity more than we are talking about their music. And something I really appreciate about Taylor Swift is every album is an event. You want to know, what is Taylor channeling? What's the vibe she's trying to give us? What's the marketing around this album? She makes it kind of fun to be a fan of music in that way. And so I definitely want to talk about Lover because A, I like it, but B, so many of you all have messaged me and been like, talk about Lover, talk about Lover, talk about Lover. So here I am, talking about Lover. Now, I try to stay in my lane as a critic, and I don't profess to know everything about the pop landscape, and I a little bit feel more confident saying I know what I'm talking about in country music. But this is going to be more of like a first impressions video than a classic album review. I just want to talk about some of the things I've noticed with Lover, what I think of it, and my general vibe of the album. Overall, I would say that Lover is both an enjoyable album, but also probably my least favorite thing that Taylor Swift has ever put out. I think it's a little bit of a mess thematically with some really, really bright spots. This is an album that finds Taylor in love with her London boy, feeling a little bit lighter and more happy to be here than she was on Reputation, which was really dark and kind of urban and rainy in its vibe. Lover, meanwhile, is much more carefree. Even in its imaging, it's supposed to be more pastel and more kind of candy-coated than some of the stuff that we've seen before. And I think it mostly captures that, but there are some tracks here that really kind of kill the vibe. And actually, one of those tracks is the first track on here, and that's why I'm going to talk about it first, which is I Forgot That You Existed. And this sounds really kind of sassy and upbeat, but to me, it's like defensive in a way that this album isn't otherwise. It's saying, you know, it feels petty, kind of back to Reputation, like, oh, I forgot that you existed. I don't know if she's referencing Calvin Harris or Kanye West, but she's kind of saying, like, I feel indifferent to you. I don't even think about you, which is kind of inherently untrue when this is what the song is about. Doesn't feel like a good way to say you've moved on and forgotten about someone, to say, I forgot that you existed so much that I made a whole song on my album about you. But to me, it sucks as an album opener. It sucks as an album opener because maybe she's trying to link this to the Reputation era where she was feeling more on the defensive, but instead I feel like it just kind of launches this album in this defensive posture, and it takes you a minute to kind of get out of that vibe and kind of get that ick off you. And it comes back around then with You Need to Calm Down later, where she's addressing her haters. I feel like Taylor, there never has been a bigger lie in a pop star's career, and I like Taylor a lot and think she's a talented songwriter, but there's never been a bigger lie than she shakes it off. I just keep it moving and I shake it off. You don't. You gotta freaking turn this page, Taylor. If you really shake things off, if you really move on, just like, you need to calm down. I feel like just be above it, because I feel like it totally otherwise invalidates the argument that she's finally in this more contented place. The songs where she's actually fawning after her man, the songs where she is thinking about the city that she's in and loving the setting and just kind of writing about stuff other than herself, to me, they actually just unlock her in a way that is so refreshing. Sonically and emotionally, the album for me peaks right in the center, starting with a song called Paper Rings, where she loves this guy so much that she doesn't need a diamond, she'd marry him with a paper ring. And then you go right from that into my favorite track on the album called Cornelia Street. My two favorite tracks, I have three favorite tracks. Two of them Taylor wrote herself, Lover and Cornelia Street. Cornelia Street is just kind of her in this moment of almost happy anxiety, where she likes this relationship so much that she doesn't want it to end, because then she couldn't walk down Cornelia Street because it would bring up all the memories of this guy. I think it's kind of an interesting, it's like the sort of drum roll before a long-term commitment where she likes him so much that she's almost scared of losing him. I think it really works and feels flowery and romantic. Death by a Thousand Cuts has a really weird kind of like minimal guitar intro that she's just kind of singing over in this fascinating cadence. I think the standout of the album is the song about her mother that she sings with the Dixie Chicks called Soon You'll Get Better. It's clearly about Taylor Swift's mother being re-diagnosed with cancer. The writing on this, and the writing specifically in the first stanza where she's singing about orange bottles and the hair caught up in her buttons, and you're getting this classic Taylor Swift image-based songwriting, and she's thinking about her mother, and then she even takes it into a place where she's like, I'm sorry to be self-centered in this, but who am I going to talk to if something happens to you? And it's layered with the Chicks harmonies. It is so such a moment. It's such a sad, sad moment. If you're a Jason Isbell fan, I feel like this is Taylor Swift's Elephant. And I think it just feels honest and real and true. It makes me wish Taylor did more of that acoustic stuff. Lover is another song that I think is stunning and cool. And I love these songs when Taylor is just kind of outside her own neuroticism about her fame and her reputation and just kind of reflecting on the world around her and on how other people are making her feel and how she loves people. It's just, it's so much more, it brings out a better side of her songwriting and just a different subject. I feel like she's got to kind of move on from some of the Reputation stuff. And I feel like that's really acute on a song like The Man. The Man is sort of a jam. It sounds really cool, but it is a preposterous lyric, I feel like, where she says, I'm so tired running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there faster if I was a man. And I'm kind of just like, look, Taylor, I know you're trying to lean into whatever the issue of today is, but where are you trying to get faster than you've gotten there? I mean, you've been the most famous person on the planet in music for like a decade. So would you get there faster if you were a man? I don't know, but it doesn't seem like your experience. And so it just kind of, songs like that ring sort of false to me. And again, I'm just like, oh, I like when you reflect. Maybe it is her real life, and maybe that is how she feels, but it's strange to me. Some of the Reputation obsession. I kind of felt like when we got New Year's Day at the end of Reputation, that we were turning a page, but I don't feel like we fully turned the page. And I think this album could be really good if you cut out the album opener, I Forgot That You Existed. If you cut out, The Man is at least interesting. I kind of like her getting I don't know, I like her saying what she thinks. That's why I like her as an artist, and clearly she's getting political. You even have that with the Miss Americana song. But I would take out I Forgot That You Existed. I would take out You Need to Calm Down. Those are the two most glaring songs I would remove. But I also think kind of the messaging in The Man sort of breaks this sort of carefree thing that Taylor's got going on otherwise on this album. And maybe it's just the nature of the streaming age that every big pop star is going to put 18 or 20 songs on their album so they can rack up streams. But I definitely feel like there are some edits that you could make here. I would get rid of False God. That song does nothing for me. I know some people love it. I do think some of the songs just feel a little bit like filler on this album. I get the sense on some hooks that maybe Taylor feels like it's liberating somehow to not have to work syllabically and to just kind of add in extra vocal flourishes. Something like Cruel Summer, where the hook is, it's a cruel summer. And you're like, oh, maybe in her mind, this is like liberating. I can do whatever I want in pop. I can add a random ooh. But I'm kind of like, oh, I wish your lyrical self were more here. I wish you kind of had the confines of song structure a little more sometimes, because I think it brings out a really creative, effective side of her. A lot of this record is a very sort of 80s synthy vibe album. Like, songs like Cruel Summer feel way more about the vibe than they really do about the lyrics, just in how synthified and vibey they are. I Think He Knows has a really interesting vibe to it. Even Me, it's stupid, but it's kind of candy-coated and fun. This album is largely pretty fun to listen to. So overall, I would say my top 3 favorite songs from this are Soon You'll Get Better, Cornelia Street, and Lover. I love all 3 of those songs. I think they're beautiful. I think they're honest. I think they have cool wordplay, great imagery in them. I like the Christmas lights in Lover. Yeah, I like the orange bottles and Soon You'll Get Better. But I do think that this album's just a little all over the place, and it bums me out a little, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm on the ride with Taylor at this point. Like, if I've been here for all 6 of the albums thus far, I'm just gonna keep going. I mean, we're like exactly the same age, And I feel like it's interesting to watch someone progress through life, even if sometimes I feel a little disappointed in them, or being like, oh, you're going through a weird phase right now, or like you're freaking obsessing over your reputation, you gotta move on. It doesn't matter. I'm part of being a fan is just sort of sticking with people and seeing where they go. But this is definitely my least favorite album from her. Red is still my numero uno. I would go Red, Speak Now, 1989, Reputation, Fearless, Taylor Swift, and then this, Lover. That's kind of my rankings, but I don't dislike it. I think I like about half of this album a lot, and just wish the other half kind of delivered more or were just cut. So I'd love to hear what you guys think of this album. I'd love to hear if you like it, if you love it, if you hate it, and yeah, let me know. All right, this is just an extra little video. I thought people would be interested in it, and that's my take on Lover. Bye, guys.